All right, let's jump right in. You know, when you think about faith, you might think of something quiet, something personal, but not in Apulia, Italy. Down there, in the sun-drenched south, faith isn't just felt, it's performed. It's this physical, collective thing. It's literally a faith that walks. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The sacred walks. It's this idea that the holy stuff isn't meant to be locked up inside a building. Nope, it spills out right into the streets, breathing the same air as everyone else. And this is what it looks like in practice. You see these young girls? Faith becomes something you can wear, something you can embody and walk through your town. And let's be clear, this is so much more than a parade. It's a community's devotion made completely beautifully visible. Okay, so you might think this is just a big crowd of people walking, but there's a real method to the madness. These processions aren't random at all. They have a kind of grammar to them, a choreography that's been perfected over centuries. So let's take a look at how this moving organism is actually built. And here's the key idea, right? That abstract feeling of faith, it becomes real, tangible, corporeal. You can literally feel it in the rhythm of the footsteps, in the collective movement. The entire town basically transforms into one single moving body of belief. Now check out this order. It might look like just a list, but it's not arbitrary in the slightest. This is a carefully constructed bridge between the human and the divine. You've got the symbols leading the way, the confraternities, the music setting the mood. Then, bam, the statue at the heart of it all. And finally, the faithful. Everybody has a specific role to play in this incredible sacred performance. All right, let's see this in action. We're going to head to our first case study, the amazing port city of Bari. This place is home to one of the biggest, most monumental processions you'll find anywhere, and it's all for their protector, St. Nicholas. So to really get the feel for this, we're going to look at two different towns. On one hand, you have Bari. Think big, monumental, almost universal, a whole city's identity wrapped up in this one single saint. But then, just down the coast, you have Mola di Bari, and it's a totally different story. It's much more intimate, more personal, a whole network of different devotions. You know, you can't really understand Bari without understanding its connection to St. Nicholas. It goes way, way back to 1087, when his relics were brought to the city. Ever since then, he's been more than just a saint. He is Bari. He's a symbol of the city's identity as this crucial link between the Eastern and Western Church. But this is the moment that's just absolutely extraordinary. They take the statue of the saint and carry it right onto a boat. The sea itself, this place of commerce and danger, suddenly becomes liturgical space. It's like a liquid cathedral. It's just this powerful visual statement reaffirming Bari's deep, unshakable connection to the sea. Okay, so let's leave that grand spectacle behind and travel just a little bit down the coast to Mola di Bari. And the vibe here is completely different. If Bari's procession is this huge, booming symphony, Mola's faith is more like a series of smaller, really intimate chamber music pieces. Each one is personal, and each one hits a totally different emotional note. And just look at this calendar. The entire year in Mola is basically mapped out by these different devotions. It's amazing. You've got saints for very specific things, for grief during Holy Week, for fishermen who need protection, for family problems, even for warding off disease. Each procession tackles a real human concern. And this quote really gets to the heart of it, especially for the procession of the Sorrowful Virgin. The key word here is participation. The faithful aren't just spectators watching a sad story go by. No, they become co-sufferers. The entire town collectively enters into this state of sorrow. It's not a performance, it's a shared experience. Okay, so all of this leads us to what might be the most powerful, the most intimate expression of faith in this entire story. It's a tradition that involves the youngest, most vulnerable people in the community embodying devotion in a way that is just, wow, it's incredibly moving. So let me ask you a question. Imagine you prayed for a miracle, say for your child to recover from a serious illness, and your prayer was answered. What do? Well, in Apulia, a simple thank you isn't enough. You have to show your gratitude, and you have to do it in public. This is what you do. You dress your child up as the very saint who you believe intervened. That child then becomes a living, walking, breathing symbol of a promise fulfilled. It's this beautiful, tangible connection between a family's fear and a sense of divine protection. Yeah, this idea of a living ex voto is so important to grasp.
An ex voto is basically a thank you gift for a miracle. But here, the child is the gift. So you see, it's not just a cute costume. The child themselves becomes this public declaration of gratitude, a walking testament that a sacred deal was made and honored. The whole theology behind it is just so direct, so powerful. It's a three-step process, really. Step 1, a parent in crisis makes a promise to a saint. Step 2, the crisis is averted, a grace is received. Step 3, the promise is kept by having the child embody that saint. It's this perfect, complete circle of prayer, answer, and thanks.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. When you pull all these threads together, the big parades in Bari, the intimate ones in Mola, the children dressed as saints, you start to see that these processions are way more than just religious events. They're what anthropologists call a total social fact. And what does that mean? It means these events literally restructure the entire community. Think about it. They organize time. The whole year revolves around this liturgical calendar. They transform space. Your normal, everyday street suddenly becomes sacred ground. And maybe most importantly, they channel emotion, giving an entire town a way to experience joy or grief or hope, all at the same time together. And really, that's the big takeaway here. In Apulia, faith isn't some dusty old book you read once. It's not a forgotten memory. It's alive, it's breathing, and it gets renewed every single year, step by step, when the community walks its story together through its own streets. It just leaves you wondering, in our own lives, how do we make our deepest beliefs walk out in the world?